Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, obviously depending on where you are in the world. First of all, I'd like to just welcome you to my channel. It's a new channel, small channel, got not many subscribers at this point. But yeah, thank you for actually turning up to this. Some of you may know me through Instagram. I'm currently a trader at the moment, trading full time. And I've built quite a strong following base on Instagram. So much so that it's got to the stage where I felt that this was almost necessary. Um, so yeah, my name is pronounced Trade Ideas, which is at the bottom of the screen now. If you don't if you don't do already, I'd really appreciate a follow on Instagram. Really helps me out. I mean, over this last week, I've gained quite a good number of followers, all of which are real, I must say. That's why there's only about 460 at the moment, all genuine followers. And I'm kind of priding myself on the fact that these followers do interact with me. So I've only got 460, but the amount of DMs I'm getting every day asking for help is quite astounding. So this is why this is coming out. So first thing I want to talk about is why am I doing this video series? So like I've just said, at the moment I've got a lot of DMs asking for help. People don't understand something. Can you help me with this? Can you explain this concept? Which is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love helping people. I really do. I don't take a single penny from anyone. I won't take a single penny from anyone in the future. The actual helping of people I find really rewarding. I mean, if I can do something, why can't I help someone else do it? So anyway, why am I doing this? Right, okay, so this video series is going to allow me, because it's how it's going to work is going to be multiple videos, each with a different topic. When someone comes into my DMs and says, hey Josh, I don't understand this, I'm going to send you one of these videos which is relevant. I'll pick it out for you, don't worry. I will send you the relevant video which you can watch to then understand that concept. Another thing, I know at the beginning it's so scary, the Forex market. I know when I started like 3 years ago, I had no idea what was going on. I googled Forex and you just get an absolute huge range of websites you can look at, all with different levels of information, all different styles, and it's like, how do you pick it out? So hopefully in this video I'm going to condense some of this information down into a style that I use, and my followers on Instagram often ask me to explain what I do with, and hopefully we can make a little bit of a comprehensive guide on how to trade, and hopefully by the end of this series of videos, if you watch them all, after watching them a few times maybe, you'll be able to trade in the similar way that I do, and hopefully with some success. But obviously, my results will never be the same as what your results will be. Unfortunately, that's the reality. We're different people, we're not going to do the same things, we're not going to see the same things on the markets, okay? But that doesn't matter for now. Another thing, like I just said, I want this to be easy. I want this to be short videos with simple titles. You know what you're looking at. This one's going to be, say, this topic. This one's going to be this topic. You don't need to watch a full 3 hours worth of videos to learn this little one particular thing. They're going to be maybe 15-20 minutes long, all based on one topic. A bit of me talking like this, so it's going to be a little bit webinar based. And then towards the end or in the middle, we'll do some breakdowns of charts, etc. But I want to just emphasize that I'm doing this to help you guys. But by doing that, by helping you guys through this, it's helping me because it takes a lot of pressure off me. I want to help as many people as I possibly can in this, but when my DMs are like at 30, 40 a day, I can't cope with that, I'll be honest. Well, I can cope with it, but the quality of the replies you're going to receive are going to be jeopardized because of the sheer number of them, okay? Anyway, so let's move on. So, who am I? Well, my name's Josh. I'm English. I live in Sheffield, which is obviously in England. I'm 21 years old, 22 this May. I've been trading 3 years. Definitely not 3 years of successful trading, may I emphasize that. Maybe the last year and a half, things have really come together, and like this has now become a good source of income for me. But in terms of other things, just so you know who I am and what background I come from, I've been at university 4 years. I did 3 years at the University of Hull, not the most impressive university in the world, but 3 years at Hull doing an astrophysics degree. So I'm quite numerically and conceptually inclined, which is I think why trading really jumps out at me a lot. So I did 3 years there, graduated in 2019. I'm now at the University of Sheffield doing a master's in aerospace materials. So just from them little bits of information, you can tell I quite like science, I quite like numbers, and I quite like technical things. But them 4 years of study have given me no advantage whatsoever into trading. Be sure of that. Doesn't matter what you've done, whether you work in a restaurant, a bar, a club, a taxi driver, doesn't matter. That will not change how well you can trade, because I've done all these like different concepts in my degrees, and it's not helped me at all. Just it's not provided me a benefit. I know lots of guys that are they've come from working very difficult jobs, but they are so successful at trading. So that's just something you need to remember. Don't worry about what you've done in the past. It's what you do now what counts. After university, after I've finished, I don't plan on trading full time, because to be quite honest, it's boring, and you'll start to realize that. It sounds great. It sounds, oh yeah, you sit at home in front of my computer, but you'll find as we go through these videos that trading is a lot of waiting around, sat doing absolutely nothing, looking at your screen, getting square eyes, and it's boring. Okay, so my aim is I want to get a degree, not a degree, a job in some sort of aerospace field, or even a design engineer. Okay, so let's just move on. We're on to topic 4. So the style I use is scalping, which there's many other people on YouTube scalping. This is not the first of this style of video. You'll find hundreds, maybe thousands on YouTube explaining what scalping is. But all you need to know for scalping is, well, we're going to catch small portions of large moves. That's as simple as that gets, okay? So if the daily candle moves this amount, imagine you can see my hands doing a certain distance, we only want a fraction of that big move. Why? Because that's all we need. We don't need to be greedy. Because if you look at it, so I'm always probabilistic. I like to look at things in terms of numbers. If you look at the chances of getting the whole of a movement compared to getting just a tiny bit of the movement, your chances of catching the tiny part of the move is much, much, much higher than catching the whole move, okay? So that's what scalping means. So if the candles on a chart or in some particular time frame move a large distance, we want to just catch maybe a small distance. There is a potential to catch the full move, but we'll go into that in later videos. That's going to be something called runners. That's just like positions running, but that's not your main target, okay? Now, if we're catching small moves, to make a sustainable income or realistic profit, we're going to be using slightly higher positions than normal, okay? So that means when you're doing that, your risk is the same sort of increase. So if you're risking a larger amount because you're doing smaller trades, it means you're also risking a larger amount. So we're not going into detail yet. That's going to be in a later video. All you need to understand for now is scalping means your risk management and your discipline is going to have to be elevated to maintain consistency and stay alive in these markets, because it's tough, okay? So you can't just run at this and expect, oh yeah, it's going to be easy, we're just taking smaller positions. Yeah, okay, you can use the same small lot sizes as you would, say, if you were swing trading, so that means trading over larger amounts of time, maybe a day, a week. But you're not going to make the same return, so this is why everything changes, okay? So scalping, what else? Okay, so when we're scalping, we're also going to get into the habit, and this is something I'm going to help you do over these videos, of taking profits. So what does taking profits mean? Well, if you don't know anything about trading so far, it just means, anyway, in fact, first, let me stop. If you don't know anything about trading yet, don't worry. This intro video is just trying to explain a little bit of the format of what's going to be happening. Everything you need to know is going to be in later videos. Don't worry about that. So yeah, okay. So we're going to be taking profits consistently. We want to take as money off the table and try and ensure that the amount of losses we receive is very minimal, if not zero. I'd rather take, say, a tiny amount of profit than a minus a large amount of loss, you know what I'm saying? So that's something I'm going to teach you again. As for what this series is going to include, we're first going to start with like a webinar almost, or an introduction into the core concepts. So the core concepts being stuff like times to trade. These are going to be based on facts and my own opinion. So this is going to be into this series a lot. My own opinion and experience is going to play a role in what content I bring you onto this, okay? So we're going to look at first times to trade, how many pairs to trade. So pairs means the actual things, in inverted commas, things you're actually trading. To anyone who's new and doesn't know what a pair is, don't worry, we'll get into that. We're going to look at realistic goals, and we're going to go through some of the good habits to have when scalping, which I think is really important to start with. I want to get all them simple things, core concepts out of the way before we even move on to anything else. Once I've covered all the basics like that, that's going to give you a hypothetical toolbox to approach the charts and start making sense of stuff. So on the next video, we're going to go into reading the chart structure and almost making sense of what you see. So it's quite overwhelming when you first ever open a Forex chart. You kind of look at stuff and you see colours going in directions, big spikes, big drops, big moves up. A lot of the time, especially as a new person, and I myself was the same, I didn't have a clue what any of it meant. I just was so overwhelmed. So we're going to go through that. Within that video, we're probably going to go over optimal zones to trade in. What I mean by that is, like I said earlier, it's a lot of waiting in trading, which means what are we waiting for? So what we're actually waiting for is price to reach certain levels in which our chances of a trade being successful are increased. So we're going to go into that. That's a really good thing to look at. It's all about reading the structure on the chart, looking at previous price movements around the price levels, and anticipating what the candles are going to do when it reaches that level again. Okay. We will touch a little bit on trends. So quick run through of trends. If price is overall moving upwards from bottom left to top right of your chart, it's in an uptrend. If it's moving from top left to bottom right on the charts, we're in a downtrend. If you can't pick a direction between them two, it's ranging. Okay, that's as simple as that gets for now. The next video will be reading the candles. So as a scalper, my focus is price action and candlesticks. I don't use any indicators, no moving averages, no RSI, no MACD, no fancy whatever it's called, Ishimoku. I probably said that wrong, but some Japanese indicator. We don't use any of that. I will literally use the candles that I see in front of me and certain structure levels. And don't let structure levels try and confuse you. When I say structure levels, all it means is you're going to see on my charts when we get into it is horizontal lines moving across, just maybe one or two. That's it. Okay. So then the next video, what I plan on doing is how to identify good opportunities. So in the previous ones, we've learned about structure and we've learned about reading candles, but how do we put them two together to say, okay, right, this is going to be a great area to look for a trade. And I'm going to teach you how to evaluate whether it's worth it getting into a trade at this position, or is this, so we're going to use what we learned on the core concepts as well in this part. So a good opportunity, for example, will be in the correct time to trade. So when we go through the core concepts and I tell you the best times to trade, say the physical times, I mean, like, for example, 10 a.m. in the morning, them sort of like timescales, we're going to look at, is this opportunity, what you see on your chart, in a good time to trade? Okay. Now, the final video, I say final, but that may change. We may add others because I don't know how long the series is going to be so far. but I plan on doing how to manage risk and stay focused. So whenever you're tampering with money, whether that be gambling, trading, investing in actual physical objects, maybe a car, maybe some trainers, you need to have some sort of risk management to be in place, which basically will say, okay, if this goes wrong by so much, let's get out, let's leave it, let's cut as losses. If you don't have risk management, the likelihood and the reality, unfortunately, is any trading capital that you start with in the first place is going to disappear. And trust me when I say you will not get it back. It doesn't matter how much you message your broker, cry on Instagram, complain to your friends. Any money you lose on, say, a Monday will not be coming back. It will not. Unless you dig into your pockets again, get your card out and reinvest into any kind of brokerage. We're going to teach you how to avoid that. We don't. Losses are a natural thing in trading. You will lose trades, 100%. I lose trades. Find me a single trader that doesn't lose a trade. I really will be quite in disbelief if you can do that. Okay. And I'm also going to, on that video, teach you how to stay focused. So you need to see clearly. I mean, we're in 2020, and the cliche joke at the moment is we've got to have 20/20 vision. We've got to have clear vision. I want you to stay focused throughout 2020. Don't be put down by losses. Don't be put down by difficulty understanding. This is what this series of videos is going to be. I think you should just approach it lightly to start with. Understand that this is a serious thing. It's an easy skill to get the grasp of, but to master it and put it into play is very difficult. So I'm going to teach you how and provide a few books that I think you should read to help you with that. So what's next on my list? Okay, so is this series going to help you? So, right, okay, so first question you've got to ask yourself is, do you have any experience trading before? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, right, so all the concepts that we've talked about in the previous slides, you should kind of have a good idea about that. Is this series going to help you? If the answer to that question is no, okay, right, you've come to this video, you've either come through my Instagram or you've found it on YouTube. That means to start with, you've got some sort of interest. You don't know what it is. Maybe you just luckily came across it. But for some reason, you're here. Now, the question is, are you motivated to learn to make a change? By change, I mean, are you willing to learn a new skill that's going to be difficult? It's going to get you frustrated. But do you have the motivation and passion there to succeed? I can't answer that for you. This is for you to answer in your own head. So if that's a yes, okay, maybe this is going to help you. The next question you've got to understand is, are you realistic? Do you think you're going to watch these 5, 6, 7 videos, go away to the charts, next month buy a Ferrari? Because as much as it's possible, I'm going to straight up tell you now, the likeliness of that happening is a big fat no. It's not going to happen, okay? But if you're here and you're wanting to learn to trade because you have realistic goals, such as, okay, I want to make a passive income, a secondary passive income maybe, while you're working full-time somewhere, so that in the year 2025, you can go on that dream holiday. Maybe you want to take your family somewhere. Something realistic. Or are you wanting to start a passive income because in 20, 30, 40 years' time, you plan on retiring and you want some extra money as well as your pension or any savings to rely on to help you have that little bit better lifestyle? So if that's something you're looking at, then great, that's really good. I think you should really pursue trading. This kind of mindset's what you really need to look at. When I started trading, I fell into the hole of thinking, damn, look at all these guys on Instagram. They've got Lamborghinis, Porsches, Ferraris. I was like, okay, I want one of them. 3 years later, I ain't got a Porsche, I haven't got a Ferrari, and I haven't got a Lamborghini. You know? But what have I gained from this? So I've gained a little bit of freedom. I don't need to work part-time really anymore. Um, and I can focus more because I'm now making a passive income while at university, so I can focus on my studies and my future a little bit more. That was my realistic goal at this point. Um, but now we've talked about all them boring theories, and I understand that this video might have been a little bit dull because nothing's happened. But this was important for me to set the groundwork going for this series because I didn't want to just jump straight into it. I want a little bit of context, a little bit of an outline of what's going to happen, so that you guys can anticipate the next video coming out. And if this all interests you, what I've talked about, then great, we're ready to go for the next video. If not, that's fine. I don't mind. You don't have to stay around for the next one. I'm not going to waste your time watching a full tutorial on how to chart, how to draw on your charts and all this. If really you don't really care, it's not for you. Okay? So just to end, let's just have a quick look at a chart. I'm not going to do any charting. We're doing no trading whatsoever. But I just want to show you so the kind of charts we're looking at. So as a Forex scalper, this is how I will arrive at a chart. So I'm going to wake up in the morning. Don't forget this is now Saturday now, so the markets are closed. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what sort of things we're going to be looking at. I'm going to arrive at my charts in the morning. My chart's going to be completely empty. I'm going to smash that dustbin button to remove all tools, indicators, lines, or what you call it, whatever, off my chart. I'm going to look at the daily. I'm going to say, okay, that's a red bullish candle. I'm going to move down to the 4-hour. And basically what I'm going to do is look at, okay, which way are we moving right now? Which way is the momentum? And by momentum, I mean which way is the load of the movement going. So here, you don't even have to be a trader. You don't need to have ever looked at a chart. But if I said to you, which way is this part here going? You're going to say down. So so if I chart up, I'm going to teach you nothing here, but I'm going to just chart this up like this, how I would usually. And I just want to show you that that is exactly as complicated as my chart will ever look. Okay? So if you can deal with looking at stuff like that, then you can learn to trade the price action style that I use, because that's it. I've drawn 2 orange lines, and all they are is references. You could trade this without even using the lines. That's just a reference for my eyes to say, okay, this here's a level that's now been broken. Again, don't worry if you don't understand what I mean by level. We're going to go through it. And this is where I've chose that, okay, this could come down to here. Could. Not will. Could. Okay? The actual specifics of why we'll enter, that's going to come in a later video. But that little final thing here at the end, just showing you this chart, this was just me showing you that it's not going to be complicated. I'm not going to make it look fancy. You can add all these weird lines on, these indicators. I'm not doing any of that. This is going to be the simplest price action scalping video series you're going to ever watch. Hopefully. Okay? But, so, just one last thing. If you haven't come from my Instagram to find this video, down at the bottom here is my Instagram name. I would really appreciate if you could follow me. I'm getting nothing from it. I'm not charging anyone for any education I give, and you can DM me on Instagram, and I'm guaranteed I will answer you. But the main reason I think you should go there is because I've got maybe it's 70 posts now of different charts, trades I've taken, breakdowns of trades, and also on my my story highlights I've got video breakdowns of trades where I've ran through on video, spent the time to describe exactly what I was looking at, and why I took a trade. I think that's for people, for both people who are experienced in this sort of thing and for new people, because if for new people you can go on there and watch some videos and listen to what I say, and maybe you understand some, so that's great. So that's a good start, and then you can use that alongside these YouTube videos to solidify your knowledge and gain a great understanding. So yeah, just drop a follow on my Instagram. If you've come directly from YouTube and found my Instagram, message me on Instagram saying, hey, watch your YouTube video. That'd be great. So what else do I have to say? I think that's it actually. But the next video should be coming Monday or Tuesday, and that's going to be the core concepts. So that's going to be the hypothetical toolkit on how to approach the markets. So thank you so much for sticking around this rather slow, dull almost webinar, but I thought it was really important just to set the scene of what's going to be happening through the series, just to try and get a few of you interested and make sure I'm not wasting any of your time. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share this if you think it's going to be useful for some of your friends. I mean, this has got to be a network of helping other people. And until next time, have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I will speak to you soon.